Perfect. So I watched Chris Lake set at LA Historic Park, and I've never seen it greener. Looking at his set for sounds for Deceiver, love to reference, have concept for proper sounds that don't make you sound FL-y. And this is one of those basses that I heard in the Journey that I really like. The basis of this bass is pretty simple. You're gonna hit number 8 here, the templates. You're gonna go mini mono. That's gonna give us a very basic saw wave. Want to set up a triangle because there's no access to a sine on this, because with Diva you're only with the big guys. We're gonna run 2 sine waves, and as with most UKG sounds, it's gonna be a combination of harmonics, right? We have the root note, but now we're gonna put a minor third, so we're just putting this at 3. I'm just gonna play this like, let's say I'm hitting the G, now I'm hitting the A sharp, I'm hitting the friend up. I'm gonna lower this range down, the top one down, because I want that to be the sub or the meat. Now, 3 is not working as intended. She's not receptive, or he. So I'm going to go up to 8 here. I'm going to filter it. Now from here, LFOs, the LFOs in Diva are located at the bottom left. In the sync here, I'm going to add a 16th rate because I want it to be going woo, 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 woo. And I'm going to leave it at a triangle. Yeah, I'm going to leave a gate. So that just means it's going to restart every single time I hit the note. And now we have this LFO here, which I'm going to move to the right. We're going to get that, but that's not what we really want. In fact, we want more of a volume thing, not a filtered thing, because the difference is going to be very apparent right now. When I go here and I set LFO 2, this is going to be the volume mod, which is mod just means you're moving it, and you're going to move it with LFO 2 by how much. We're going to move it to the right, move this top one to the left. We start to get that. However, that doesn't sound balling enough for the Lakeman, so we're going to go to 6. Let's set this filter to 12, move this down, play around with, again, the level. And we got the nice response now. Now we got this nice UKG sound. This one's going to be a 5th, however. I thought it was going to be a 4th or a 3rd, but I was wrong. Okay, now if we go into the trimmer section, what we can do is we can now essentially have this retrig by hitting oscillator reset. And then from there, the frequency here, I don't want to have it like changed. You know, this is what makes Diva sound analog, is that every single time you play a note, this can go through the voice map here. And each time it hits, there's like a different pitch for each oscillator and stuff. But we don't want that, and we don't get it in mono or legato mode. We're going to get that in poly mode. From here, it's time to kind of start just programming a pattern. The cool thing about this bass is that you can hold down a note, and there's just so much movement in it that, you know, it sounds dope. So we're going to hit doom, and then we're going to... Now I'm going to choose to go up into the Phrygian. So let's go G sharp Phrygian, very popular tech house scale. Let's do an octave jump, shift up to see what happens. If I go into Diva, right, this LFO, right, we can change the rate with this modulation. Remember, mod just means change stuff. But what I can do is I can set the mod wheel to it. Now, obviously, there is no mod wheel that's visible in Diva. And unless you have your trusty dandy MIDI keyboard with it and you want to be doing that, then you're pretty much going to be stuck not having that. So what I like to do is in Ableton, we have this effect known as the CC control, which is a really useful effect when you're using it with analog synths, with some digital synths, which, you know, I guess they ran out of the budget. We got to add a mod wheel here, but now we can do it here. So if you wanted to, you could just set that up. Now let me show you guys some advanced proper techniques. First one is, let's say the bass, like this is rather boring for you. What you could do is you could omit some parts of the bass to do double kick. If you want to be Swedish, again, these guys really care about the attention to detail, then we can definitely grab this kick and then maybe pitch it like 1 or 2 down and shorten it a bit to change the way it's going to hit, so it feels a little different. And of course, you can always go in and just reduce it a tiny bit. So if I leave this like this, it might sound fine. It's boring though, because it means nothing, right? But it's also very important to note that if we were transitioning to second part of the drop here, then maybe this is fine. But if we're going into the break, it's not as dope. But let me show you something that is dope, right? So what we can do is highlight this area, do this, and then we hit the R, we can reverse. Now this is super sick because watch what happens. You get that reverse of the drums, which is a very common UK underground thing to do, but obviously it's a little too much. So knowing how much salt to sprinkle is very important. So I'm just gonna pull back on this like so, maybe even here. But from there, a little bit of processing. I've been experimenting with different ways to saturate. So the little radiator from Sound Toys is getting some love. You know, just making it sound meatier. With these type of plugins, you got to keep in mind is that they're volume dependent. So what that means is I can leave the heat here, but if I'm going into it very hot, which means like, you know, I have a huge amount of volume, I'm clipping inside of Diva or I'm clipping coming out, this little radiator is already going to be driving, you know, it's going to be already like applying some form of saturation and distortion. So we'll put it somewhere around here. We can add a bit of noise bias if we choose to, but that's good enough for me. From there, a bit of side chaining on the bass. Main reason for it is just to stabilize it. You know, a hectic low end that's all over the place, jumping up in volume is never a good thing, especially in a club environment and even in a goddamn car. I know some of you guys run them Hellcats with your Alpine system, like you're going to Antarctica and about to like fucking James Bond on the ice field, like in Die Another Day with Madonna, who just these volume jumps right from here to here. From there, you can put the style in safe mode. Now, of course, we're going to be sidechaining to the kick. Like I said, I'm using this plugin known as Duck 2 now. I bought it. This is not sponsored. I like it. I'll have an affiliate link in the description if you like it too. Pretty simple. The reason I'm using it now is just because of the sidechain feature similar to Kickstart 2, but also there is an offset if needed. Let's say any of the plugins that come before add some form of latency, then I can have that here and offset it a bit. That way I don't have to run the duck at the beginning, which is like the noob thing to do. So it's up to you, but I like it for that reason. And the multi-band also has these linear phase EQ, so I can like essentially sidechain separate, let's say the top. We can add some erosion. Now, erosion is a really cool effect inside of Ableton that can add texture to any sound that you put on it. And the reason that I want to use it is because sometimes this bass might be fat and it will sound good in like the speakers, you know, in the cars. But some people have Corollas from the 92s, you know, like for some reason that thing is still rolling along like a cockroach. But a really nice cockroach that I might want to buy from you in like 20 years from now, you know, with your 30 miles per gallon and trouble-free maintenance and ownership experience. So we got to make sure we can have the bass also audible for the homies sometimes. So this is where this is cool. With the amount, we can select how much of this erosion we're going to apply to the bass. You know you went too far because the sound itself becomes its own entity. Instead of, you know, unifying with the bass, it just tries to outdo the bass. So we know we went a little too far. From there, we have this noise blend from Assign, which this can also work, but if we move the noise blend to the right, now we get more of a noise, which for this, I find very tasteful. Frequency, we can select where the effect is taking place. Preferably, I want to create some top material for the Corolla dude to be able to hear the bass and go, that's hard. Now the width is how broad, right? Where the effect is taking place. How broad is it? Is it going to be like a little hut or is it going to be like a big hut? And finally, we have a stereo feature. So if you want to make this be more on the sides, you can, which makes the bass feel bigger than it is. So now if we use that and put this, how do we feel? Now, some of you guys might ask about the vocals and the tutorials about the bass, but hey, you know, we provide the value. I'm using an ECU vocal, and what I like to do is I'll just drop it in and hear the acapella or the song from the left to the right. And as I'm hearing it, I will grab parts that I like. So obviously in the one that I used on the drop, I made it PG-13. I took off the cussing, but now it's rated R.
With the switch, then blast on the bit.
So with the switch, right? That sounds super sick. I can make a song called Hit the Switch, and there you go. And just use that vocal along with some ad-libs from, there's a track. Here we have another one that's gonna be what I thought sounded good, which
Putting it down.
putting it down, and then you get the
Putting it down with the E.
putting it down with the E. There you go. And then now ecstasy, right? So I can do
Putting it down with that E.
with the E, bro. So now, you know, we get something new out of that. And again, just going through it.
Here we go again with.
Here we go again with the E, right?
So tell me how the fuck do it feel?
Tell me, how do it feel? You can get rid of the F, right? So this is how I grab the vocals for these kind of tracks. This is what they're doing as well. You know, they will gatekeep it to death. But once you start to figure out that a lot of the stuff you like that is hitting the beat ports and you're wondering, how the hell did they do that? Trust me. And there's different forms of sampling, which is something that I've been getting into lately just because I've always been the type of producer that kind of look down on people that sample. And I think that comes from a form of elitism, which I don't think is a good thing. You don't have to prove you're better than anyone else because at the end of the day, no one's better than anyone. It's all in the head, you know? I've been paying a bit more respect to sampling, and I like the idea of it. Mainly when I'm dealing with writer's block or I need something fresh. I want to create stuff that I wouldn't think of creating. All right, fam, with that being said, if you enjoyed any of the sounds in this video, the drums are from Omen. The bass that you heard is coming from Deceiver Diva Edition Volume 3. If you guys want to watch another video on how to make some dope music, check out this video here where I tried the Prospa techniques. Pop mixed with house, murder beat way. And you guys have a great rest of your day.